Hi everybody, my name is Mrs. Schoettle and I am your teacher for the rest of the year. I wanted to just make this little introduction video just so that you could put a face to a name. I know I've looked at the roster and I know a couple of you on the roster, but for the rest of you, I've never met you. So this video is just to kind of give you a little intro to me and to what this course is about, even though I know you've gone through some of it already. But first and foremost, I just want to make sure and send you my well wishes that I hope you guys are all staying well and healthy and taking care of yourselves during this COVID-19 outbreak. And I hope that you are taking the necessary steps to keep yourself safe and healthy moving forward as we get into the next couple of weeks with this. So, as you know, I have been on maternity leave all of this school year, and I do want to share with you that this class was one of the main reasons why I was considering shortening my maternity leave. I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but this is a class that I wrote 3 years ago during the 2017 spring 2017. This class was approved. And so I was working on how to bring a more inclusive story to American history. If you think back to your 10th grade social studies year, or whether it was APUS or just traditional modern American history, it is very straightforward. There's a lot of military history. There's a lot of political history. And a majority of the people we talk about are men. And so with this particular course, I wanted to tell other sides of the story. It's different perspective, the perspective of women, the perspective of African Americans, the perspective of Native Americans, and any other group that felt or feels that they are underrepresented in American history. So this class is definitely something that's very different for Penn Ridge, and I'm very proud of it. And the 2 previous years, because the class that you're in right now is the 3rd year that the course is running, but in the first 2 years, the students had a great experience with it and really enjoyed the structure and the content and the way that we handled these things. So it is something, like I said, that I am very proud of, and I do want to thank you guys for actually taking this class. This is like I said, it's only in its 3rd year. This is a social studies elective that you can take as a senior, and any student that signs up for this, I very much appreciate, because more students that take this, then the longer this class can run, and I would love to keep this class running year after year after year. So thank you for that. So far, up until this point with Mrs. Day, I know that you guys talked about a little bit about why we call this class A People's History. I hope you read at the beginning of the semester chapter 1 from the book A Different Mirror that talked about basically the structure of, or what we focus on in this class, looking at American history from the bottom up, looking at it from the perspective of the people who are in the trenches and the people that are creating these stories. So that was the first piece, and I did see your magazine collages on the bulletin board when I was getting my things last week, so I know that you did that, so that was good. And then the first unit that you guys were finishing up when the school shut down was the African American unit. And that particular unit is a little bit more traditional, like a typical social studies class, and that's just was designed to help you, at least if I was there, or even with Mrs. Day, just to get a feel for the class and the type of material discussed in the class and things like that. The goal moving forward, if we were still in the classroom, would be to turn this class then, after the African American unit, into a more project-based learning class. The second unit of this course is the American Woman, and that particular unit was designed with project-based learning in mind. And then after we do women, we spend some time looking at Native Americans And I always get a lot of questions like, why don't we do Native Americans first? And I choose not to do it first because every year I've taught this, it has been in the spring semester. And Black History Month is in February, so I like to start with African Americans, and then Women's History Month is in March, and International Women's Day is March 8th. So I like to do women second, and hopefully using women in March, but that, depending on the weather, and in this case a pandemic, it doesn't always happen that way. And then I follow it up with Native American history. And then after that, we start looking towards the end of the year in what I look at or call special interest projects, where students are tasked with choosing a particular group that could be considered underrepresented in American history, and then doing a type of project based on that. And some of those groups would include, and are certainly not limited to, Italian Americans, Mexican Americans, Korean Americans, Americans with disabilities, whether physical disabilities or mental or learning disabilities, diving into a particular nation with Native Americans or the American Indians. So it could be any hyphenated American could be part of this. I know in some years people have done Jewish Americans. So one year somebody looked at the Irish American. So there's lots of different groups that could be considered in this special interest project. So that's typically how the course is structured. But obviously, given the nature of what we're in right now, things do have to change a little bit. Although I am going to make it as best as I can, keep the structure of the course very similar in terms of starting next week, we'll be looking at women, and then after we spend some time on women, we'll look at Native American history a little bit, and then I'll modify the special interest projects a little bit. As far as what you have this week, obviously this week it was a transition week for everybody. It is the start of a fourth quarter, so it's a transition for you in that respect. Everything was transferred to me from Mrs. Day on Tuesday, but I didn't really get access to everything until late Tuesday into today, Wednesday. And then there were some technical issues with having access to Canvas and PowerSchool and things like that. So I'm just now getting the opportunity to make this video for you and start this course. And then this week is Easter and Passover, and Thursday and Friday are your traditional spring break days off, and I believe Monday, but you can check that. I'm not 100% sure about Monday. So you're not really expected to do any work on these spring break days. Okay, so the way that I was designing this first week, and in my mind it's still going to be this way, was to just make sure that your African American take-home assessment is done and submitted. That's all you need to worry about this week. I know Mrs. Day assigned it to you because you did the entire African American unit with her. She assigned you the take-home assessment. And she told you that it is due on April 8th at midnight, which is today, Wednesday. So you should know that is due, and there were a couple of you that submitted it already, so thank you. But that is the only major thing that you have to do for me this week. Okay. Also, there's one other small thing that I am going to ask that you do for a grade. If you look on Canvas, toward underneath, or there really should be the only published module for you right now, it says, "Hi, I'm Mrs. Schoettle," and you're looking at this video. So if you found this video, you found that module. There's some contact information there for me. And there's a link there to a Word document, and it's a student questionnaire. And there's 9 questions there for you to answer. And those are just some things that'll just help me start to get to know you as we go through the rest of the school year. And I will ask that is due by tomorrow night, April 9th. And I understand, you're not technically supposed to be doing work, but given the circumstances and the transition from one teacher to another, these are very easy questions, and I just ask that you please turn them in as soon as possible so that I can get to know you a little bit better. So other than this video, you have to turn in your take-home assessment for African Americans and do a very short questionnaire, just so that I can get to know you a little bit. Starting on Monday, I will have things posted for you starting our women's unit. And with this class, I would like to Zoom because there's 8 of you plus me is 9. I would like to have a Zoom session once or twice a week. So if there's any day or days that just don't work for you for whatever reason, if you've got a bunch of other Zoom sessions, I'm very flexible, and I'm very flexible with this class in particular because there's 8 of you, so we'll make it work. So I would ideally like to Zoom with you once or twice a week, just to kind of keep chatting with each other and having discussions, and doing some of the things that I would hope we could do in the classroom. So let me know if there's any issues with that. But by Monday, I will have a schedule for the week and some things for the week for you, starting with women's unit, and a proposed day to Zoom with you guys next week. So I hope you guys, like I said, are doing well. I hope you continue to do well. If you celebrate Easter and Passover this weekend, I hope you guys have a wonderful and beautiful holiday. Get outside and enjoy the nice weather. It's been beautiful this week, so I hope you're taking some time to take care of yourself and to be gentle with yourself, and let that vitamin D hit you outside while you're doing your schoolwork. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is in the contact information. You can send me a direct message on Canvas. And I gave you my Snapchat handle. Yes, I Snapchat. And in fact, the story behind it is students from this class I had taken on a field trip 2 years ago. We went to the Statue of Liberty, and I did not want to give out my cell phone number. So they suggested that I create a Snapchat. And this way they could text me via Snapchat. And so it worked. And my classes in the last couple years, have loved the fact that I use Snapchat because they feel more comfortable asking me things via Snapchat than email. I don't know. But anyway, my Snapchat handle is there if you would like to follow me, as long as you don't mind seeing pictures of my kids. So that being said, have a wonderful weekend, and I will be in touch with you next week. Bye-bye.